We've talked a lot about P Diddy on the channel lately and all those allegations that are going on around there. But joining the ranks of alleged bad stuff, Abercrombie and Fitch. Makes me sick. The old clothing place you used to have in your mall, you'd walk past and like all the pictures on the outside would be like, you know, dudes' abs and girls in bikinis. Yeah. And you could always like smell it and hear like the techno music as you went by. It's like, Abercrombie must be nearby. And they'd have like their models like sitting out in front, you know, to greet you as you come in. Oh yeah. And it always, I don't know if the place always had like this aura of like, you're not good enough to shop here. I don't know if you remember. Have you ever even been in one?
That's why I never shopped there. I never felt like I was good enough. I wasn't welcome. There are guys with abs that are out there bouncing like they wouldn't let me in. They're
a bunch of bouncers, right? I also remember that they didn't hire people. They recruited people, and they'd only recruit you if you were like pretty. You know, if you were a beautiful person. Yeah, because it was a very it was like everybody's like high school trauma in one place. You're not cool enough to even wear these clothes. And there were tons of red flags about the place. Like I remember they had like their little magazine or whatever at the front that you could buy, but you had to be 18 to buy it. And I always wondered why. And I actually like had a buddy that like worked there back in the day, and he had one, and I like flipped through it, and it's they're just naked people. It's just naked people everywhere. There's no clothes in it. It's just models being naked. And I was like, wow. I mean, there was clothes in it, but it's like, wow. There's this. Yeah, this is
next to nothing.
Yeah, this is basically a Playboy without the articles and clothing instead. And I always thought that was really weird.
That is weird.
And so recently, people are finding out about the CEO and some cases that have been opened up against them. I think there's 16 cases against the top dog of Abercrombie, or the previous top dog of Abercrombie and Fitch for sex trafficking and prostitution.
Oh wow!
Allegedly, because he's claimed that he's not guilty. We're talking about Mikel Jeffries, who's 80 years old. His partner Mathew Smith, who was also arrested, was 61. You know. The age difference. And then Jacobson, who was kind of like a scout, like a recruiter that worked for them. And this is what Mikel Jeffries looks like. Definitely someone who let loose on the filler. And, you know, his doctor probably told him that the filler would just kind of go away, which it never does.
Yeah. Instead his eyebrows did.
Oh, here you go. Here's like I don't know. This is just like, I looked him up. This is a picture right here. This is Abercrombie right here. You got your long belts and then just like dudes with abs. Yeah. You know? That's it right there. So Mikel Jeffries was the CEO of Abercrombie between 1992 and 2014. And all three of these guys were arrested on October 22nd, 2024. They got Jeffries and Smith in Florida, and then Jacobson was in Minnesota at the time of his arrest. They're going to be in the Eastern District of New York. And they have 16 court indictments, and it has been issued by 3 men. And I think there's even like more to that too. Hang on, I got like a little video pulled up here. We got our super reporter Nicole out here grabbing this information for it. But then there's also something in this video here. Let's see. This is him getting arrested there.
That preyed on aspiring models.
Powerful individuals for too long have trafficked and abused for their own sexual pleasure young people with few resources and a dream.
Abercrombie.
So the whole basic story is that they're like, you want to be a model?
Oh,
come on in. Come on in. We got a modeling job for you. You know, we're going to need you to do some things, though.
15 men have come forward who said they were made to sign non-disclosure agreements, wear costumes, and then forced to perform explicit sex acts for money.
Yeah, I guess 15 people have come forward with that.
Wow.
And I saw a thing earlier that said there's 16 now. But yeah, it's getting the same, you know, very similar to the Puff Daddy situation where like people are like, hey, something's going on here. So the story is from December 2008 to March 2015, Jeffrey Smith and Jacobson allegedly used a combination of force, fraud, and coercion to traffic men while operating a prostitution enterprise. Jacobson's job was revealed to be employed by Jeffries and Smith to recruit, interview, and hire men to perform commercial sex acts for Jeffries and Smith. It says here that they hired a network of employees, contractors, and security professionals to operate this venture, which was dedicated to fulfilling all their sexual desires. So, they just it's Puff Daddy all over again, man.
Right.
It's the same thing.
Oh, you want to make it in this world? Ha! I got you. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. It says they paid for dozens of men to travel within the United States and intentionally to various locations, including the Hamptons on Long Island, New York City, and hotels in England, France, Italy, Morocco, and St. Barthélemy. I don't know what that word is. For the purpose of engaging in commercial sex acts with Jeffries, Smith, and others at sex events.
Freak-offs. Wow.
Freak-offs. And then Jacobson, like their recruiter employee, allegedly traveled throughout the United States to recruit and interview men for these sex events. During tryouts of potential candidates, Jacobson typically required the candidates to first engage in commercial sex acts with him. So the allegations are there's a lot of like, oh, you want to be a model, Abercrombie? Well, the casting couch right over there, the black couch. Yeah.
And these are all like, I mean, if this is worded, these are men, right? Like they're taking advantage of these dudes.
And also the allegations are that while they did these things, like maybe they did it to get their job or whatever, but then when the sex parties and stuff like that, they were never actually told what was going to be happening. They just kind of were like thrown into it, and then yeah.
Oh yeah.
Which makes me
how
like
bad
even like
do you want your career? Dude, that's crazy.
And it even like makes me like, since they recruit you at the stores or whatever, it's almost like, man, I wonder how many other people out there, like even just like employees. Ugh.
Dude, that's awful, man.
And so here's a list of some of the things that allegedly that they would do. So they employed a referral system and interview process that did not inform men of the details of the sex events they would attend, including full extent of the nature of the sexual activity that would be required of the men at the sex events. It calls them in to believe that attending the sex events could yield modeling opportunities with Abercrombie and otherwise benefits their career. So it's like the promise of like, you do this, you take, I was about to say, take it on the chin. Ugh. Then, you got,
it's not even guaranteed. It could. This could help. You never know.
That's kind of I think that's kind of where it ends up going, is like the opportunities weren't even there. It was just, they were just trying to get people to, yeah. But yeah, they caused men to believe that not complying with requests for certain acts during sex events could harm their careers. If you don't do this, then you're ruined, kind of thing. Yeah. And it required them to relinquish their personal items, including clothing, wallets, phones, and store them in inaccessible locations at the events. And they had to sign non-disclosure agreements. So they take all your stuff, make you sign NDA, make you feel like you're powerless, can't do anything. Yeah. It says here, on more than one occasion, when men did not or could not consent, Jeffries and Smith violated the bodily integrity of the men by subjecting them or continuing to subject them to invasive sexual or violent contact by body parts and other objects, which is a very fancy way to say that they, you get it. I don't have to say it.
Yeah.
And then on one or more occasion, allegedly, Jeffries and Smith directed others to inject or personally injected men with a erection-inducing substance for the purpose of causing the men to engage in sexual acts when the men were incapable or unwilling to engage in. And many victims were financially vulnerable, some as young as 19. I don't think they have anything of people being underage in this, but it's like young aspiring models that taking advantage of the whole situation. Some of the victims were employed or models of the stores, but not all of them. So this answers the question I was asking earlier. It's like, were they employees of the stores? Some of them. So one quote from one of the victims is, "This experience, I think it broke me." And they told the BBC, which the BBC was the first to report on the allegations.
Okay.
He says, "I think that this stole any ounce of innocence that I had left. It mentally messed me up. But with the language I now have today, I can sit here and tell you that I was taking advantage of." Yeah. They set a bond for $10 billion.
$10 billion.
That's for Jeffries. $10 billion. And
let's go.
A $500,000 bond was set for Jacobson, which was like the recruiter, and Smith, who was the partner, was given no bond, as he is a British national and was a flight risk, so he can't post bail.
Oh, okay.
I mean, Jeffries has $10 billion to throw out there. Jeez.
Dude. Just to get out before court. That's insane.
If they are convicted of their sex trafficking charges, they each face a maximum sentence of life, but a mandatory minimum sentence of 15 years. So it's 15 to life, right?
Yeah.
That's just for the sex trafficking. If they're convicted of the interstate prostitution, then they face a maximum of sentence of 20 years. So if like just one of them stick, it's at least 15 years, or it could be 20, or it could be life.
Wow.
The defendants pressured the men to consume alcohol, Viagra, and muscle relaxants known as poppers during the sex events.
The allegations mirror civil lawsuits by several alleged victims.
So it's quite literally the Diddy situation.
Yeah.
I mean, the Diddy's allegations are somehow still worse, but it's still still freaking awful.
It sucks that these big corporations or big companies, you know what I'm saying, or just actually it's really just a handful of these awful human beings taking advantage of so many people for so long, man.
Yeah, the dude's 80 years old.
Yeah.
He's 80. Like life in prison is like 3 years for him at this point.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's how much justice will the victims even get out of that? You know what I mean? Like,
well, I mean, I hope they get paid at least.
Well, for sure, right? Like, I hope
at least some monetary. I mean, it's, money only goes so far, but that's really what else can be done for like 80-year-old man, right? But then the other people involved too, and then like maybe it'll be like a whole P Diddy thing to where like they start throwing other people under the bus and it gets deeper. I hope just get them all out, man. Like, what is up with these deviants? These people that have like these weird. I'm kink shaming these weird sexual things to where they just like can't be satisfied unless they're just like forcing people and like taking advantage of like all these things. It's disgusting.
Yeah. Stop watching so much porn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I feel like more and more of this stuff just keeps coming out because like I think I said this earlier, like when the P Diddy stuff first came out, I was like, who knows how deep all this goes? It's probably like everywhere.
Right.
At like the top where like they can just, normal people aren't people to them. They're just.
I wonder if these people's names are going to show up on the P Diddy list. You know what I mean?
Oh.
I like, for real though.
I wouldn't be surprised.
What trips me out, Kenny, is back in middle school, we had this event we did with Career Day, and we did a little modeling thingy.
Yeah.
And it went well. And back then I was I was in shape, and I was sitting there thinking, I was like, you know what? Maybe I should model. And thank goodness I like food a lot, but like, dude, I couldn't imagine. You know what I mean? Like trying to go for something that you really makes you feel like, hey man, this is gonna make me feel fulfilled. Like I really want to do this, and these are the creeps you run into. That's awful.
Yeah, I feel like modeling, like one of the more dangerous ones where this kind of stuff happens. Yeah, there's even what's the actress's name? I forget. She's like the main chick in like Resident Evil, the movies. Mila Jovovich. Jovovich, excuse me. She was like a young model. Like I think she like started modeling like when she was like 10 or something. There's an interview of her. It's like an old interview of them asking her some questions, and she's just being like, like some like she doesn't say anything, but it's like some makes you believe some stuff happened. Anyway, sad world. Hope we're all feeling depressed now. Take them all down
and throw away the key.
Anyway, that's the end of the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If today's your birthday, happy birthday. So, my friends, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
When it happened to Gadzooks.